Brad Johnson here from johnson.audio, and today I'm going to talk to you about the best computer for music production. Now, I got this idea for this video because I had a comment from one of my viewers about switching to a different computer that would be faster because he was feeling like his computer that he was using was slower and it wasn't able to run his tracks when he was mixing. It was crashing. And so that is going to be one of the most frustrating things as a home studio producer, songwriter, recorder is when your computer can't keep up with your creativity. It'll kill your creativity so quickly. And there's nothing worse than, being recording and you're in the moment and all of a sudden your computer comes with an error and it stops, or your computer crashes, or you're in the middle of a mix, you're almost ready to finish it, and then all of a sudden your computer just crashes and it just puts you out of that creative space. And so people will be asking, should I go Mac or should I go PC? Obviously there's definitely benefits to both. And, disclaimer, I've been using Apple since I started. And so it's the platform that I understand and know. And that's what I continue to use. And what I've learned is that really it's just up to a matter of your personal preferences of what you want. You really don't need to have the fastest computer or the most RAM when it comes to music production. It's not like video production. Really, 16 gigabytes of RAM is going to be, the minimum you want, but it should work for you. And also, the biggest thing to look for within a computer is an SSD drive, so a solid state drive, not just a hard disk drive. If you have an old MacBook Pro that has a hard disk drive, instead of thinking about upgrading to the next and best thing, see if you can, swap out for an SSD drive and make sure that you optimize your RAM at 16. That will make your computer super, super fast. You don't need to go and buy the latest and greatest. And trust me, it'll do the job. It'll definitely do the job. So when it comes to the Mac PC debate, what's nice about PCs is that they're upgradable. You can swap parts out and they're really customizable and they're a little bit more future-proof just because if a new technology comes out, you can get the card and swap it out and it's great. And they're generally, the cost for entry is going to be way cheaper. With audio production, I do find that most manufacturers and most plugin manufacturers are going to favor Mac. There are some hardware units out there and interfaces and stuff that interface to the Mac without even having to use a driver. And so I do feel like when it comes to Mac, the compatibility is a little bit more there with everything that's being out there with music production. It's becoming less and less nowadays. Everything's pretty much Windows compatible as well. But sometimes I find with certain manufacturers that the Windows kind of takes the back seat to the Mac OS. And so sometimes they'll have updates for the Mac OS and then the Windows comes out a little bit later. So that's something to consider. If you're really starting from scratch, you can really go either route and just making sure that everything interfaces well and is compatible. If you are using one platform now and you are thinking about switching to another, say you're from Mac to a PC, before you do it, make sure that your interfaces will work with that computer, that all of your plugins and software work with that computer and works with the OS. Just because the last thing you want to do is change or go to a different platform and all of a sudden a lot of stuff you've already invested in and already learned doesn't work anymore. Another thing to consider is that, something like Apple, you can do Logic, which is a $200 DAW, and it's awesome, and you can do pretty much everything you want within it. You don't have to go for the top, latest, and greatest. Maybe you could find an Apple that's being sold on the used market for a really good deal. And when you're just getting started, you're not going to be, really pushing the limits of your computer and your DAW. So you really don't need to have that much. You just need to have a simple interface that can run your audio into your computer, and you can do a little bit of editing, a little bit of mixing and bouncing out. And when you first start, you're probably not going to be working with 50 plus tracks where you would really be taxing your CPU. You'd be working with probably, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tracks, just depending on what it is that you're doing. If you're just a singer-songwriter, it must be your vocals, a couple, harmonies, acoustic, piano, whatever it is, and some virtual instruments, and then there you go. Another thing to kind of think about when you're trying to maximize your computer power is, because this is what happened with one of my viewers, is that he was running an SSD drive through the USB port. And you have to understand that your computer has to communicate to that SSD drive via that USB. There's going to be loss in speeds when the data transfers. And so having the SSD drive internal in your computer and having it run off that is going to speed up the process a ton. Also, if you're looking to save CPU power, make sure to cut out blank spaces within your audio file, because it's still, if there's, you have a track and there's a little part where it sings, and on either side of it there might be nothing, your computer's still reading off that audio file. So if you cut that out and delete it, that'll actually save some CPU power as well. Utilize freeze. And as well with virtual instruments, they take up a lot of CPU power. So just bounce those tracks out when you're done tweaking and making the sound happen. So just bounce the MIDI track out to an actual audio file. You'll save a ton of CPU power because it's not trying to read off the virtual instrument itself. Those are very CPU hungry. I know I'm kind of getting a little bit beyond what's the best, computer for your music productions. I'm kind of getting into a little bit of ways to, utilize what you already have and to maximize what you already have. But really at the end of the day, it's just your choice. When it comes to laptop and desktop, it's just, again, personal preference. Know where it is that you want to go with your music productions. If you want to be mobile and you want to be able to say, go edit or mix like in a coffee shop, then a laptop's going to be great. It can be a little bit more pricey to get, a nice fast computer, but desktop, if you're just staying at home, then that would work as well. And you generally can do a little bit more upgrading and customizing with desktop computers. So I hope you got something out of this. This is a quick little tidbit. I mean, this can go way, way deeper. It's a big rabbit hole between, what kind of platforms you're using. And there's a lot of fanboyism, fangirlism in both sides of the camp. But really just look at your budget, look at your needs, understand what it is that you want to do with your music, and then go from there. I hope you got something out of this. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. You can give me a thumbs down if you didn't. If you have any questions you want me to, clarify anything, please hit me up in the comments below. I will respond to you, and I love your guys' questions and continuing these kind of conversations with you because I get to learn just along with you. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Hit that little bell to get notifications of my videos. I'm posting all the time to help you guys out. Again, my name is Brad Johnson at johnson.audio, where I just want to help you create music that people love. I will see you in the next video. Bye.